So good day everyone, I am Cindy Abjelina and I am here to present to you my report about the chapter 4, which is all about law on partnership and corporation. So on the next slide, we have here our learning objectives. In this video, you will be able to differentiate the various kinds of partnership and corporations and the responsibilities of partners and incorporators. You will also identify the requirements in the formation and the dissolution of partnerships and corporations. So in the next slide, we have here our introduction. So in a high level of industry like the tourism sector, it is imperative that it strictly complies with legal requirements in order to operate as a legitimate business. So to start up operations must have a strong foundation, and in order to have a strong foundation, you must also start with a strong business organization. So by forming a partnership or a corporation, it is a better choice in forming business organizations in order to enter a competitive industry, so like the tourism industry. So before we proceed, let us know first that our laws on partnership, it is governed by our Civil Code of the Philippines, while our corporations, it is governed by our Batas Pambansa Bilang 68 or the Corporation Code of the Philippines. So this chapter will also present an overview of a partnership and a corporation as a business organization. So in this slide, we have here our laws on our partnership. So in Article 1767, by the contract of partnership, two or more persons bind themselves to contribute money, property, or industry to a common fund with the intention of dividing the profit among themselves. So, what's may pasabot ani? So, partnership is an association of two or more persons to carry on as a co-owners of a business for profit. So, a definition of partnership does not include religious associations, conjugal partnerships, and others of a similar nature because a partnership as defined by law refers only to associations, the purposes of which is to obtain profits to be distributed among the partners. So in this slide, we have here our advantages and disadvantages. So first, our advantages in the partnerships is it is easy to form, it is also improved growth possibilities, and we have our freedom from bureaucracy. So if we have some advantages, we also have here our disadvantages. So disadvantages in forming a partnership is the instability, the difficulty in obtaining large sums of capitals. The firm is tied to the acts and judgments of one partner as an agent, and the difficulty in severing partnership ties. In the next slide, we have here our classifications of partnerships. According to first, we have here subject matter. So subject matter is, under this is the first, we have here the universal partnership. So it is a partnership where all of the partners contribute all their properties to a common fund and speaks of no particular purpose or subject matter. So as long as the purpose is forming a partnership, that it is to obtain profits and it is not contrary to the law. So under this also is the particular partnership. So a particular partnership has for its object determine things, their use or fruits, or a specific undertaking, or the exercise of profession or vocation. So next we have here the according to liability. So under this is the general partnership and the limited partnership. So composed of general partners where liabilities extend to their personal properties. And also when we talk about limited partnership, it is one formed by two or more persons having as members of one or more general partners and one or more limited partners, where the liability of the latter, the third persons, is limited to their capital contributions. So we also have here according to durations. So under this, we have here partnership for a fixed term. So is one in which the term of the existence has been agreed upon expressly or implied, as when a particular enterprise or transaction is undertaken. So in the next slide, we have here our obligations of the partners in the partnership. So first, we have here where contribution is money or property. So if a partner promises to contribute money during the celebration of the contract and he also failed to do so, he shall pay the interest and damages from the time he should have complied without need of any demand. So if the partner promises to contribute specific determinate things, he must also preserve the property, deliver the fruits from the time of agreement, and warrant against eviction and hidden effects, and also transfer ownership on delivery to the partnership, and pay damages for the delay without necessity of demand, and bear the risk of loss for before the delivery. So second one we have here where contribution is industry. So an industrial partner cannot engage in business for himself unless the partnership expressly permits him to do so. So if he failed to do so, the capitalist partners may either exclude him from the firm or avail themselves of the benefits which he may have obtained in violation of this provision with the right damage in either case. So third one we have here obligation of the capitalist partner. So a capitalist partner is prohibited from engaging in a business in competition with a partnership unless there is a stipulation to the contrary, or otherwise all profits of the such partner belong to the partnership and all losses shall be for his account. So third one we have here our responsibility between partnership and partners. So the partnership shall be responsible for every partner for the amount he may have been disbursed on behalf of the partnership. Shall also answer to each partner for the obligations he may have contributed in good faith and in the interest of the partnership business and for the risk in consequence of its management. So next one we have here our sharing of profit and loss among partners. So the distribution of profits and losses shall be in conformity with the agreement. So if only the share in the profits is agreed upon, the shares in the losses shall be in the same proportion. So next one we have here are property rights of a partner. So a partner cannot assign his right with respect to the specific partnership property for the partner's individual debts or for legal support. So the next one we have here are liability of individual partners to the third persons. So all partners including the industrial partner are liable pro rata with all properties for contracts with third persons. So the last one we have here are liability of the limited partner. So a limited partner is liable as first when he allows his surname to appear in the partnership form, second when he takes part in control of the business, and in this case he shall have the rights and power to be the subject of all the restrictions of a general partner, except that as to the other partners he shall be preferred also as to the return in his contribution and shares in profit. So on the next slide we have here our laws on corporations. In section 2, corporation is defined as an artificial being created by operations of law, having the right of succession and the powers, attributes and properties expressly authorized by law or incident to its existence. So in the Philippines, the law which governs the creation of private corporations is Batas Pambansa Bilang 68, known as the Corporation Code of the Philippines. So right of succession means that corporation has the capacity to exist regardless of the death, withdrawal, insolvency, or incapacity of the individual stockholders, and regardless of the transfer of interest or shares of stocks. So on the next slides, we have here our kinds of corporation. First, we have here our stock corporation. So one which has a capital stock divided into shares and is authorized to distribute to the holders of such shares or dividends or allotments of the surplus profits on the basis of the shares held. So next one, we have here non-stock corporation. So one which no part of its income and is distributable as dividend into its members, trustees, or officers subject to the provision code on dissolution. Next one, we have here the corporation de jure, a corporation organized in accordance with the requirements of law. Next one, we have de facto corporation, a corporation where exists a flaw in its corporation. So next, we have here public corporation, one formed or organized for the government of a proportion of the state, and it is created by its own charter for the exercise of public function. So next we have private corporation. So private corporation is formed for some private purpose, aim, or end. It is created by incorporation under the general corporation law. So next we have a public corporation. Next we have here our corporation sole. one organized for the purpose of administering and managing as trustees the affairs, the property, and temporalities of any religion, denomination, sect, or church. In this corporation, there is only one incorporator. So next we have here eleemosynary corporation. So one that is organized for a charitable purpose. So next we have domestic corporation. It is a corporation formed or organized and existing under the laws of the Philippines. And the foreign corporation, which is the last one, that a corporation that is formed, organized, or existing under laws other than those of the Philippines and whose laws allow Filipino citizens and corporations to do business in their own country or state. Next we have here are advantages and disadvantages. So let us hear first are disadvantages of a corporate organization. So first, we have a strong separate juridical personality, limited stability to investors, free transferability of units of ownership, the centralized management to the board of directors, the professionalism is easier to sell amounts of stock to raise capital. So our disadvantages, we have here the extensive government regulation, the double taxation, and the activities are limited by charter and various laws. So on the next slide, we have here our distinction between partnership and corporation. So what's may kanang kalahian nila? So a partnership is created by the agreement of the both parties, while corporation is created by the law. In partnership also, the liability of the partners extends to their personal properties, while the liability of the stockholders in a corporation is limited only to the extent of the shares of stock subscribed by them. So in partnership also, when the management is not agreed upon, every partner is an agent of the partnership, while the power to do business and manage the affairs of the corporation is vested in the board of directors or trustees. So a partnership is also commenced to acquire juridical personality from the moment of the execution of the contract of partnership, while our corporation commences its corporate existence only from the date of the issuance of the certificate of incorporation by the Securities and Exchange Commission. And a partnership may be organized by only two persons, while our corporation require at least 5 but not more than 15 incorporators to organize. So on the next slide, we have here the Article 1 incorporation. So in section 1, we have here subscription. So subscribers to the capital stock of the corporation shall pay to the corporation of the subscription value or price of the stock in accordance with the terms and conditions prescribed by the board of directors. In section 2, we have here our certificates. Each stockholder shall be entitled to one or more certificates for such fully paid stock subscription in his name in the books of the corporation. Next one, we have here our section 3, which is the transfer of shares. Subject to the restrictions, terms, and conditions contained in the articles of incorporation, shares may be transferred, sold, ceded, assigned, or pledged by delivery of the certificates duly endorsed by the stockholders, his attorney in fact, or the other legally authorized person. And the last section, we have here our loss certificates. So in case any certificate of the capital stock of the corporation is lost, stolen, or destroyed, a new certificate may be issued in the lieu thereof in accordance with the procedure prescribed under the section 73 of the Corporation Code. So on the next slide, we have here Article 2, Meeting of the Stockholders. So section 1, we have here the regular meeting. The regular meeting of stockholders for the purpose of electing directors and for the transaction of business as may properly come before the meeting, and shall be held at the principal office on the blank of each year, if a legal holiday, then on the following day. So section 2, we have here our special meeting. The special meeting of stockholders for any purpose or purposes may at any time be called by any of the following. First, we have here our board of directors, and second one, we have here presidents. So section 3, we have place of meeting. Stockholders meeting, whether regular or special, shall be held in the principal office of the corporation or at any place designated by the board of directors in the city or municipality where the principal office of the corporation is located. So section 4, we have here notice of meeting. So notices are regular or special meetings of stockholders may be sent by the secretary or personal delivery or by mail at least 2 weeks prior to the date of the meeting to each stockholder of record at his last known post office address or publication in a newspaper of general circulation. So we have here section 5, the quorum. And unless otherwise provided by law, in all regular or special meeting of stockholders, a majority of the outstanding capital stock must be presented in order to constitute a quorum. So we have here the section 6, the conduct of meeting. Meeting of the stockholders shall be presided by the chairman of the board, or in his absence, the president, or if none of the foregoing is in the office, the president and present and acting by a chairman to be chosen by the stockholders. Section 7, we have here manner of voting. At all meetings of the stockholders, a stockholder may vote in person or by proxy executed in writing by the stockholder or his duly authorized attorney in fact. So last one, we have here closing of transfer books of fixing of record date. For the purpose of determining the stockholders entitled to notice of or to vote at any meeting of the stockholders or any adjournment thereof, or to receive payment of any dividend, or making a determination of stockholders for any purpose. So board of directors may provide the stock and transfer books be closed for a state period, but not to exceed in any case of 20 days. So in the next slide, we have here the Article 3, the Board of Directors. So in Section 1, we have here the power of the board. So unless otherwise provided by law, the corporation powers of the corporation shall be exercised, and all businesses conducted of all property of the corporation controlled and held by the board of directors to be elected by and from among the stockholders. Section 2, we have here election and term. So the board of directors shall be elected during each regular meeting of stockholders and shall hold office for 1 year until their successors are elected and qualified. So section 3, which is the vacancies. So any vacancy occurring in the board of directors other than by the removal by the stockholders or by expiration of term may be filled by the vote of at least a majority of the remaining directors, if still constituting the quorum. Otherwise, the vacancy must be filled by the stockholder or at any special meeting of stockholders called for the purpose. So section 4, we have here our meetings. Regular meetings of the board of directors shall be held once every quarter of the year on such days and times as the places of the chairman of the board are in his absence. So section 6, section 5, we have here our notice of the regular or special meeting of the board, specifying the date, time, and place of the meeting shall be communicated by the secretary to the director personality or by telephone. So in the section 6, we have here a quorum. A majority of the numbers of directors as fixed in the articles of incorporation shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of corporate business, and every decision at least majority of the directors present at the meeting. So section 7, we have here our conducts of meetings. So meetings of the board of directors shall be presided over by the chairman of the board. So section 8, we have here compensation. By the resolution of the board, each director shall receive a reasonable per diem allowance for the attendance at each meeting of the board. As compensation of the board shall receive an allocated amount of not more than 10% of the next income before income tax of the corporation during the preceding year. So in section 4, we have here our article we have here our officers. So section 1, the election and appointment. So immediately after their election of the board of directors shall formally organized by the electing chairman, the president, or one or more vice presidents, the treasurer, the secretary, and at the said meeting. So section 2, we have here the chairman of the board. So the chairman of the board of directors shall preside at the meetings of the directors and the stockholders. He shall also exercise such powers and perform duties at the board of directors may assign to him. Section 3, we have the president, who shall be a director, shall be the executive officer of the corporation, and shall also have administration and direction of the day-to-day business affairs of the corporation. So next section, we have here section 4, which is the Section 4, which we have here the Vice President. So if one or more vice presidents are being appointed, he or they shall have such powers and shall perform such duties as may from time to time be assigned to him by the board of directors or by the president. So section 5, we have here the secretary. The secretary must be resident and citizens of the Philippines. He shall be the custodian and shall maintain the corporate books and record and shall be the recorder of the corporation's formal actions and transactions. So section 7, we have 6 rather, we have here section 6, the treasurer. The treasurer of the corporation shall be its chief fiscal officer and the custodian of its funds, securities, and property. So section 7, we have here the terms of office. So the term of office of all officers shall be for a period of 1 year until their successor are duly elected and qualified. So section 8, we have here vacancies. If any position of the officers become vacant by reason of death, resignation, or disqualification, or for any other cause, the board of directors by majority vote may elect a successor who shall hold office of the unexpired term. And section 9, we have here compensation. By laws, officers shall receive a remuneration as the board of directors may determine. All other officers shall receive a remuneration as the board of directors